Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions regarding this watch. And I am 100% certain that if you are watching this, you are wondering, what am I even looking at? What you're looking at is perhaps the most fascinating debut of 2003, and in fact, it actually won the design award at the 2004 GPHG. This is the rare and exotic Tag Heuer Monaco 69, which incorporates a genuine mechanical movement based on the Peso 7001, and then on the opposite side, a 1/1000th of a second chronograph based on what we saw on the micro-timer concept watch by Theodore Diehl. So this is an incredible watch that gives you both quartz and mechanical satisfaction in a unique, almost reverso-like format that allows you to rotate the case on top of a fixed chassis. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we're going to wear it in its conventional mechanical form. Well, you'll note it's not a chronograph on the primary side, but it's definitely a chronograph. Throwing this watch on my wrist, it is big for a Monaco, and there's no getting around that. So 39.6, not including crowns, is the distance across the case from 9 to 3. And then it's thick at 18.2 millimeters. It's fairly long, too, at 50.2 lug-to-lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist so you can see it and have a sense of scale. It is big. I think you need a larger wrist than mine to really wear this. Let's say, given the sheer size, which is primarily a function of the thickness, that you're going to need a wrist of 18 centimeters circumference for this to really look like an organic fit. And no, it will not slide under a dress cuff. The strap is high quality, but it's roughly what you would expect. It's calfskin, it's bolstered to give it some thickness, that is, it's stuffed. Black with monotone stitch, you can see calfskin on both sides. And there is a edge that's shear cut and then lacquered for refinement. No perforations, because the long-running buckle used by Tag Heuer, it's a twin trigger release. It needs to be affirmatively released. It can't pop open. But you can see how it has a little crimping system where you stuff the opposite side through, then you crimp it down, and all the excess length now hides under the clasp and the opposite side, so there's no need for strap minders, and the extra length is invisible. So it's both very secure and also very handsome. Taking a look at the case, this is perhaps one of the most extreme evolutions of the Monaco chronograph that originally debuted in 1969. So calling this the 69 evokes the original, although perhaps only in the sense that it was a square chronograph, and this is a square chronograph. It was an early technology leader in the automatic chronograph stakes, and this is a technology leader with a very different type of chronograph. Now, taking a look at the watch, you can see that in profile, it's full of crowns and pushers and actuators. You don't need any of that for this side except this one primary crown. Taking a quick look in the dark, it does have some lume, though not a lot. That's okay, because the action side of the watch, which you're about to see, features a backlight. Now, the way this works is you first extend it fully, and then you pivot, and then you collapse, just like that. So in a way, it's like a reverso, but it's also like a tank basculant from Cartier. Here is where you're going to spend most of your time, and this is where it most directly derives from the style of the micro-timer concept watch. So we've got a digital display, and here's what the watch has on the digital side. It features a quartz caliber that includes 2 time zones, a perpetual calendar, a 1/100th of a second chronograph. It has an alarm, and then the chronograph features laptimer functions, so you can record and document, as I've tested it, dozens of individual laps. So you can keep all that information for reference later on. And then there's also a backlight, so we'll demonstrate that now. And the backlight is something fierce. You can see I've got a lot of different functions, everything promised, including my best lap, which is automatically selected by the computer, so it's readily available. This thing is absolutely stacked with features and functions. And I would even go so far as to say that if you wear this on a daily basis, you're probably going to wind up wearing it more often on this side because it's just so much more fun to play with, and it does give you a lot of useful functions. It also changes the aesthetic of the watch. You saw the 1/1000th of a second chronograph function right there. Water resistance is approximately 30 to 50 meters, so you want to be a little bit more careful with this. There's so many through case fittings. This is a timepiece for land sports, and it is an excellent one. You may be wondering, what can I say about the mechanical movement? After having said so much about the quartz side of the watch, what's actually ticking inside? Well, it's based on the Peso 7001, which is a long-running thin manual wind caliber noted for its fine qualities as a timekeeper and its compact dimensions, being about 2.5 millimeters thick and 23.3 in diameter. So the Peso 7001 is a great legacy movement featured in a lot of high horology watches, including among others Blancpain, and Ludovic Belloir uses the core of its drivetrain on the upside down and the halftime. But in this application, it's a 17 joule manual wind 3 Hz movement with a 42-hour power reserve, and that is what powers the analog side of the watch. And this watch is really the best of both, the past, the present, and the future. Will it be in your future? Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details of this steel double-sided chrono.